Hello everyone, Musical Mornings. Today we are the 22nd of February. Um, Maybe it's my brother's birthday today. That just occurred to me. Side note. We're going to, as always, do 3 warm-ups, work on some sight reading, finding notes with our music theory quiz today, and be cycling through intervals, chords, and just plain old notes. The plain old notes are for those that still need to learn their fretboard better. And, it just never hurts to find notes. And then we're going to compose a 2-voice piece, which means we're going to have 2 melodies going on at once. And it's going to be really, really fun. So stick around. Of course, if you are a Dojo member, I hope that you have downloaded the PDF and printed it off. If you're not a Dojo member, you can check out the link below. Be able to print off all my classical guitar sheet music and the musical morning sheet music. $2 to $25 a month. Doesn't matter what subscription level you are, you all get the same kind of access, as well as the Dojo forums where you can drop a question on me there. Current Dojo members, I hope that you utilize that forum a little bit more. I just put it up. Inji has given a couple questions on there, and I'm looking for more folks to show up and ask some questions. So without further ado, guys, let's start warming up. Here's our first warm-up. Of course, you cannot see my face now, but that's okay. All you need to see is my right hand. The first warm-up every day is going to be just right hand only, and then do a right hand, left hand type of thing after that. So this exercise, we're starting with our thumb on the low open E, and we're going to pluck our G, B, and E upwards with our index, middle, and ring. And then we're going to open A, and we're going to do the same thing but in reverse. So E, B, G, and then open D, G, B, E, and then open A, and in reverse again. So you're kind of going forwards and then backwards, and the thumb is going from these strings to the next. And you'll repeat that once. After that, it gets a little trickier. After that, we get thumb, index, middle, thumb, thumb, index, middle on the B. So we're going high E to B, thumb, and then A. Index, middle on the G, thumb, thumb. Index, middle on the B, thumb, open D. Index, middle on the open E, thumb, thumb. Index, middle on the B, thumb, thumb. Index, middle on the G, thumb, thumb. Index, middle on the B, thumb. Repeat that, and then we'll end with 2. 2 open E's on either end. Okay. So here we go, guys. We're going to do this nice and slow. Thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, ring, middle, index, 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 thumb, index, middle, thumb, thumb, index, middle, thumb, thumb. Index, middle, thumb, thumb, 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 index, middle, thumb, outside strings. So practice this one a couple times through, guys. This is a really good warm-up. Next, we're going to move up to warm-up number 2. This one's a bit tricky too. So we've been doing the warm-ups where we're going up in the strings, right? And yesterday we did index, third, second, pinky, index, third. Now we're going to do that same thing today, but this time we're going to do it with hammer-ons and pull-offs. So a hammer-on, we're going to be going index, hammer to your third, second, hammer to your pinky, and we're going to go up the strings that way. And then when we come back, we're going to do pinky, pull off to second, and then third, pull off to 1, right? All the way back down, and of course we're going to hold the last note out. Now, just a couple tricks with these pull-offs and hammer-ons. The hammer-ons should be nice and loud. Your finger really does need to come down like a hammer. And on the pull-off, you can actually you're plucking the string, and you can hit the string below it with your finger. Don't worry about missing that string. You'll actually get a much better sound by hitting the string below it. So here we go, guys. We're going to do index, hammer to third, second, hammer to pinky. And we're moving up the strings. Nice and slow. I haven't played yet either today, guys, and this is meant to warm your hands up. One of the biggest mistakes my students make, or everybody's students make, I think, is going too fast during the warm-ups. James Shackelford asks if these are the warm-ups from my book. They are not, James. They are not. These are warm-ups I come up with for myself every day. So one thing I like to do is I like to put a variety of things under my fingers, sticking to some ideas. But I think the more you kind of change your warm-ups around, then the more your hands can do. There are a couple basic warm-ups I do every day, and those are in my book. But this is extra. And in fact, what I plan on doing is after maybe 50 episodes of this show or so, I'm going to take all the warm-ups from this show and put them into a separate book. Okay, guys, warm-up number 3. Now, you guys know that I love the Mauro Giuliani Arpeggio patterns. They're just awesome. So again, we do a C major chord and a G7 in first inversion. Oops, my bad. So our C major chord, third of the A, second of the D, open G and E, and first of the B, right? The G7 in first inversion, we have second of the A, open D and G, and then third of B, first of high E. And this picking pattern, we're actually going to be doing thumb on the A, index middle on the next 2 strings, and then you're gonna move your thumb to the D and index middle on the next 2 strings, thumb to the G, index middle on the next 2 strings, thumb goes back down to the A, and then your index middle stay in place, and then we switch the chord. Tom says he's officially a dojo member. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. Drop a post in the Fretboard Dojo discussion. I actually canceled my Facebook so that I can spend time on the dojo discussion. So I'm going to be there. So ask any questions. Post your videos there too. Post a link to your videos. It's a old-fashioned forum. All right, here we go, guys. Warm up number 3. Dun, 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 dun. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, guys, let's move forward. We're going to do find the notes. You guys know how this works. I'm going to give you roughly 1 minute. Usually I have the timer on the screen, but unfortunately I forgot to launch. Let me see if I can actually launch the software right now. If I can, I can. If I can't, I can't. I can. Okay, guys, find these notes once the timer is up. Also, notice there's a key signature this time, so all the Fs are sharp. While you guys are finding the notes, ERT asks about the 432 hertz tuning instead of 440 hertz. I say humbug. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't even tune my A to 440. I just let it wherever it's at, and then I get my guitar from there. I don't think it really matters. If you're playing with a group of people, just make sure you all decide. But from what I know, everybody does A440 for classical music. If it's just you by yourself, well, maybe my opinion is not the best one, but I always just tune to wherever my A is currently at. And every 2 weeks, I'll bring it up to 440. But yeah, the 432 hertz thing, I don't buy into. All right, guys, time's up. Time's up. Let's find these notes here. First note is G. You can find that on the 3rd fret of your high E. That's also on the 8th fret of your B or the 12th fret of your G. We're not going to be going up past 12 here. Next, we have B, open B, 4th fret of your G, as well as the 9th fret of your D. Next we have D, 3rd fret of your B, 7th fret of the G, or 12th fret of the D. Next we have another D, open D, 5th fret of the A, or 10th fret of the low E. Next we have G, open G, right? You can also get that 5th fret of the D or 10th fret of the A. Next we have F sharp. Remember, we got a key signature on this one, so that's kind of a little tricky thing, but all of the Fs are sharp. This is the key signature of G. So F sharp is the 4th fret of D, right? And you can also get the 9th fret of A. Next we have B again. I like to put repeats in there sometimes because repetition is really key with this stuff. Next is C, 1st of the B, 5th of the G, or 10th of the D. We have another C after that, which is our 3rd of the A, or 8th of the low E. And we have a low G last. Low G, which is the 3rd of the low E. All right, guys, let's move on to the second note finding exercise. Get the timer on the screen. You guys have 1 minute to find these notes. These ones are a little bit more widespread. Angie says she's been practicing the PDF. She's a dojo member, by the way, everyone. She's been practicing the PDFs every day, and she's getting a lot from it. Yes, these PDFs are designed for daily practice so that you get better at the musical aspect of the guitar and a little bit of the technique. It's really hard to get to know music theory and stuff without a lot of kind of quiz reading and writing exercises, right? So if you think about kids that go to school, and they need to learn a language, we teach them that language through reading and writing. And I don't understand why we don't do that with music. We always just do it with reading or just writing or the oral tradition. I think reading and writing is an important daily exercise for music, and it should definitely, that needs to change in our music society. So here we go. First one, we have A, open A. Or you can also get this on the 5th fret of the low E. After that, we have C. That's up here on the 8th fret of your high E. And you can also get the 13th fret of the B. I know we're not really going over 12, but just heads up. After that, we have B, 7th fret of the high E, and 12th fret of the B. After that, we have G, open G, 5th fret of the D, or 8th fret of the, 10th fret of the A. All right, after that, guys, we have another F sharp, 2nd fret of the low E. And another F sharp after that, 2nd fret of the high E, 7th fret of the B, or 11th fret of the G. After that, we have D, right? And after that, we have high E. Next, we have A. So D, that D was 10th fret of the E, and high E was 12th fret of the E. Sorry about that. 5th fret of the high E for A, as well as 10th fret of the B. And after that, we have G, 3rd of the high E, 8th of the B, 12th of the G. Okay, guys, let's move on to our rhythm sight reading. I'm going to put the rhythm sight reading up on the screen and start the timer. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute. I'm going to step out of the screen for a moment while I let this timer go. So I will be right back before the minute is up. So take a look at this rhythm here. Clapping the rhythm. Very, very important exercise to do. Oh, by the way, Inji, I saw the post you did on the Fretboard Dojo about Fernando Sor etudes. So it's my plan to do all, over the next maybe like 3 or 4 years, I'm going to do all the Fernando Sor etudes on this channel. The one that you chose, I'm going to go ahead and put that on my list. of stuff to do in the next like 2 or 3 months. With that being said, Opus 6 is probably not the best SOAR collection of studies to start with. I think Opus 60 is the best one to start with. All right, time's up, guys. Let's clap this. This being a live show, everybody, you get to ask questions and interact, and I will answer your questions on the show because why not? All right, guys, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do it another time, guys. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. All right, very cool, guys. Let's move on to the regular sight reading. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute on the clock to take a look at this. Then I'm going to show you how to play it. See, everybody's putting their answers down in the chat. That makes me very, very happy, guys. Remember, this video is all about stopping in to work on your fundamentals. Working on your fundamentals regularly as a guitarist will make you so much better. It's crazy how much better you will be by having a full grasp of your fundamentals. So we've got 30 seconds on the clock before I show you how to play this sight reading exercise. Remember, it's always good to take a look at your key signature as well as time signature up front. What key are we in? What key are we in, as well as what's the time signature? All right, time's up, guys. Let me get this timer off the screen. So we're going to go ahead and go through this. We are in the key of E minor, and we're in 4/4, which means 4/4 time. This sight reading exercise is in first position. If I don't write another position in there, just assume it's first position. We start with an open E, and these are all eighth notes, so we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all the way to the end, ending on a 3 with a half note. So we have open low E, G, E second of the D, open G, and then we get G high E, 3rd fret, and then we get open G, B, G. Then we get open A of the G, 2nd fret, D, or D of the B, oopsies, D of the B, 3rd fret, and F sharp, or sorry, A and then F sharp, A, and then C, A, right? So we're going to get this kind of cool bum, ba, ba, da, right? And then after that, we're getting open A, D sharp, F sharp, D sharp, open E, G, B, E, G, B, E, B, B. Okay, so real quick, just kind of a theoretical breakdown of this. We have our 1 chord, the E minor, to start with. And then we go to a D chord for a moment, and then we get a D7 chord, and then we get a B7 chord after that with an A pedaled into the bass. And that A moves on to an E major, ending on our 5th scale degree. So let's go ahead and play through this. I'm going to answer your question in a moment, James Shackelford. I actually have really exciting announcements for this. I just finished writing my first fingerstyle blues etude, so stay tuned. I'll answer your question here in a moment. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Urbano, hello Urbano, welcome, welcome. Let's do this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, Urbano asks, where am I broadcasting from? I'm from lovely Colorado Springs, Colorado, my favorite place in the world. All right, James Shackelford. So recently, as a reward to myself for completing my classical guitar book, I bought the complete transcriptions to Robert Johnson's fingerstyle music. And I'm sure you know who Robert Johnson is. So I've gone through his music to decode it. I am going to start another kind of series called the Blues Corner with Ross or something like that, or Blues with a Classical Guy. But I'm going to put a little bit of a sneak peek up today. I took a little cell phone video of the etude I wrote. So keep an eye out for that, James. I'm going to be coming up with a lot of really cool fingerstyle blues exercises. Okay, guys, that's the sight reading for the day. Now, here we go in terms of the most important part of this video, this show, composition. We're going to be writing a two-voice composition. Here is the composition template in front of you. Now, when we're going through this, the idea is that we're going to take these notes on the outside, and we're going to be writing two melodies that kind of connect. But to start, let's just take a listen to which ones we're talking about. So we have C and E, right? And then E and C. And then D and F. This is in C major, by the way. And then D and F again, but different ones. Then we're going to get G and F, B and D, and then C and E. Now, if you're a classical person, this is a really important one to pay attention to. And if you're any other kind of guitarist, this is an important one to pay attention to. This is going to sound very classical. We're going to be doing some other styles here coming up, but I think the best style to really have a great foundation in is classical. So what I want to do is I want to rewrite our top melody here so that we end up connecting the dots with some quarter notes. And then we're going to do some quarter notes perhaps with the bass. So here we're going E, and somehow we want to end up with this E and C, right? So we're just going to kind of bridge that with a D, I think. Not a bad idea. So we have, oopsie, sorry. And then why not go to an open B here? So now we have, and what I want to do on this next measure is actually switch to doing a melody on the low end, right? So we're connecting F and D. So why not have an F and then just walk it down like we did before. And we'll choose what note we want after those two. But then what we would get here is so. And I actually kind of like just having this held out as a half note. That sounds nice. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the camera view and show you guys how to play this real fast. I'm going to check, also keep the chat open. So we're going to be doing C and E, then we get a D and our E and C. So we have third fret of the A, open E, then third fret of the B, and then our second fret of the D and first of the B, and then open B. And then we're going to get third of the D and third of the B, second of the D, and then open D and first of D. And we get this really pretty and one of the things about this is to notice that we're going 1, C major chord more or less, and then 2, D minor. And next we're going to be going to a 5-7 chord, our G7. Now let me switch us back to the composition template. Now we're going to be doing G and F on the next one, and I think it would be good to go ahead and do the same type of thing where we take the first measure is the upper melody that's going to be moving, F, E, and then we'll get D, and then why not B after that, or actually no, F again. Yeah, that's going to be good. And then we're going to end on that C and E. So what we would get is, so here we go, guys. And that is your writing prompt for the day. I just showed you what I did with it. But the question that I pose it to you, what can you do with it? What can you do with it? So here's what I want, guys. As with all student-teacher relationships, it's reciprocal. So please write something using this composition template. And if you could, post it on your YouTube channel. And if you're a dojo member, why don't you go ahead and post the link in the dojo discussion, post the link down there in the description below. I want to see what you guys come up with. This show is more about you guys than me. Oh, Angie, sorry, Angie. I think let me upload the worksheet after the show. I'm still getting used to having these things uploaded, so it'll be uploaded within 10 minutes or so, right when I get off the line here. So guys, put your questions in. We're at the closing of the show now. I want to answer anyone's questions, and then I'll be off to go do more teaching today. Tom Rafa, have a good evening, man. Very, very good to have you drop in. God bless. All right. So today, guys, I'm going to be uploading a little bit of a teaser for some of my fingerstyle blues stuff that I'm coming up with to teach. I'm also going to go ahead and upload the PDF for this. Sorry, Angie, my bad. Sometimes I let a couple things slip through the cracks. But I will have that PDF uploaded in the members area here, lickety split. As always, if you guys want to support this channel, you can become a dojo member. There's a link to a free practice journal template below if you want to start journaling about your practice and tracking your progress. You can also check out Music Theory in One Lesson on Amazon, as well as the Beginner Classical Guitar Method on Amazon. I'll be coming out with some more books. I've got a couple other books too. One that you guys might be interested in is a book I wrote called Magitar, which is kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons technique type of book. It's a total goofy book, but it's like an adventure, choose your own adventure guitar book. It's kind of goofy, but I had fun writing it, and I think I've only ever sold like 10 copies of the thing. So if you guys want an artifact of Ross the music teacher, get Magitar too, because I might pull that one down off of Amazon sometime soon. So everybody, James Shackelford, will I teach myself slide guitar and take you on that journey? Sure, man. This is what I do. I love doing this type of stuff. Let me do a little bit of the finger style first, but I will include a slide because I actually have 2 or 3 students that come in person that really enjoy slide guitar and blues guitar and that type of stuff. So I'm totally happy to oblige that. All right, guys, I'm off for the day. I have a meeting here shortly. I wanted to keep this episode to about 30 minutes. I will see you guys this coming Tuesday. Keep an eye out for my little sneak peek cell phone video for the blues, as well as the PDFs in the members area of the dojo. All right, guys, have a good one.